Hello, I'm psychologist Yulia Latunenko. Today I want to tell you about a certain category of men whom women call cheapskates. Who is a cheapskate man and why is he like that? If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so, give this video a like and don't forget to do it. Leave a comment. Have you ever encountered men like the ones I'll be talking about in this video? Let's first define who a cheapskate is. It's not just a stingy, greedy person, it's something more. It's someone who is poorly mannered, poorly educated, and lacking in culture. It's a person who is lacking in everything. But lately, women have started calling stingy, greedy men cheapskates. Although even among educated, even intellectually developed people, you can find those who are very stingy with money. Here, the meaning of the word cheapskate becomes a bit blurred, and we start using it specifically for those who are extremely greedy. Women call such men cheapskates because they don't want to spend their money on women, are very stingy, and don't want to give women gifts. But let's take a closer look at what this phenomenon is. Men cheapskates. It seems to me that this phenomenon is actually much deeper, and what I mean here is, well, even a certain spirit, a spiritual, emotional kind of brotherhood, a sort of poverty mindset, but it manifests itself specifically in the material world, in the fact that a man is very afraid to part with his money. I'm not even talking about big gifts. Sometimes men won't even spend a single penny on those they supposedly love. So what exactly is a zlob? How does this show up in relationships with women? Such a person is not inclined to give in anyway. They are focused on taking, and taking. Resources they don't have, resources that belong to other people. But we all know that love is about genuine giving. So it turns out that men who are focused on taking rather than giving, men we call zlobs, are incapable of a feeling like love. They will even be stingy with their feelings. Such men will begrudge spending even a penny not only on their partner, on their woman, but also on their children. And sometimes even on themselves. For them, it's very important that there's always something in their wallet or lying in the bank or stashed away somewhere. But usually such men don't deny themselves anything, yet they're extremely stingy when it comes to spending on their loved ones. A miser is someone who will count every penny with you. Don't expect any genuine gifts here, even if such a person gives you some gifts at the beginning of a relationship, maybe even expensive ones. Then when you break up, they'll present you with a bill and demand that you return all those gifts and that you reimburse them for all those expenses. This is blatant stinginess that we can observe in our society, in relationships between partners. For a miser, everything is always expensive. It's always about buying things with red price tags. And even if the discount is just 10 hryvnias, there still has to be a red price tag. Such a person will never buy at a regular price, but will go for products of questionable quality just to get a deal or some kind of discount. It's very important to them. It's almost like some kind of game to win. Who will win, the store or the miser? A miser is someone who often says, we can do without this, it's too expensive. Even if it's not expensive, for such a person it will always seem expensive. A miser for a birthday will give either several small gifts or one small gift, but never a big one. Being a miser, as I already mentioned, isn't just about money or material things. It also applies to feelings. This person will be stingy in expressing emotions, in showing their feelings and love. Well, maybe that's actually because in reality, this person doesn't feel love. Their only love is for money. That's why you'll never get anything else from such a person. Tenderness and genuine care. A miser is selfish and egocentric. First, my needs are satisfied, and then, if anything is left, yours or the children's needs. Such a person essentially will fail in any relationship because they are focused on taking, not giving, as I already mentioned. But I know that many of you listening to my video have noticed such traits in yourselves. I will explain why people have these symptoms of greed and miserliness. But before I explain, I want to say that all of this is connected to your development, or more precisely, to disruptions in your development. If you have noticed similar traits in yourself, or if you are in a relationship with a man like the one I am describing, this also means that you are tolerating things that are unacceptable to you, things that do not suit you. And this also means that you have a childhood trauma. Now I will explain why men become stingy. As I said above, that's all there is to it. These are the consequences of childhood trauma. Essentially, these are the consequences of anal trauma. This happens at around 2.5 to 3 years old, from about 1.5 to 3 years, when a child starts to walk on their own and asks to use the potty, and some developmental disruptions occur. Usually, such children are raised in an environment with a lot of restrictions. There are also strict demands for cleanliness. Very often, the mothers of such men are anxious, cold, and very pedantic. As a result, these men themselves become pedantic, rigid, and inflexible in their psychological makeup. Their psyche in general is very, cemented in place. It's only this way and no other. That's precisely why such insecure men are often deeply afraid of completely losing their precious control. And so, by being excessively stingy and deliberately withholding, they effectively control their unsuspecting partner through the powerful leverage of money. For these individuals, money is truly the primary thing by which it's as if they establish their power in the relationship through it. The second reason for a person who turns out to be stingy, they are very fixated on money. They have a strong fear of losing material things, of losing money. They live in a world of scarcity where losing money is terrifying, almost equal to death. That's why if such a person has to choose between you or money, family or money, they will of course choose money. The fear of material loss in such men reaches the point of madness, which is why they become misers and cheapskates. The feelings that such men evoke in women are feelings of disgust, confusion, and despair. These are not equal or close relationships at all, because such a person behaves quite formally in a relationship. They don't know how to love, they don't know how to feel. And you might say that such a person is similar to a narcissist, but no, not always. Such a person is not always a narcissist. There is also the obsessive-compulsive personality, which fits this description. That is often obsessive-compulsive people. People can be pedantic, rigid, very stingy, well, indeed, they demand absolute sterility, a kind of perfect, unblemished cleanliness in every aspect. They are meticulously attentive to even the smallest details, and they absolutely cannot stand it if you are even a single minute late for an appointment or meeting. However, quite ironically, they themselves can often and quite significantly be late for various engagements. That is to say, with such individuals you might consistently observe either a state of complete and utter chaos at home, or conversely, a meticulously maintained, almost manic order in their living environment. This is the obsessive-compulsive personality. That's what it looks like. Of course, that's why they are very formal in relationships and they experience failures in relationships with women. Every woman will be dissatisfied with the fact that the person is stingy. And not just stingy with money, but stingy with feelings as well. It's as if you're dealing with a cold robot who has learned certain reactions and shows you formal, banal displays of emotion. As if there's something learned, as if they truly don't come from deep within, but rather from the very surface, as if such a person is merely performing. Well, like a sweet candy with a beautiful wrapper, but inside the wrapper there's nothing. That's how I would describe such a person. So of course a relationship with such men is impossible. But if you have already ended up in a relationship with such a man, it means that some trauma, some kind of malfunction, occurred during your own personal development. And of course, at the end, I ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already and are watching this video without being subscribed. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it and leave a comment. Have you ever been in a relationship with stingy men? Or if you are a man, have you been in a relationship with women? Because all of this also applies to women. All these traumas, they don't discriminate. They don't care about gender or sex.